Hello everybody. Today I'm going to make a special video. Will be talking about how likely is the newer travelers that have not yet come out for the global version gonna get buffed. This is not 100% chance. This is just my personal thought on how the character could be buffed in the global version, since a lot of the characters nowadays I've seen alter in their skills like Kanori and Nefte. And this just is a tier list of my personal thoughts of could the Traveler be buffed, and pretty much see almost certain is I have a really high expectations that they're gonna get buffed. Likely they gonna have a huge alter in their entire kit, like Frederica and Roland level of changes. The likely territory is they have a chance, but not as almost certain. Unsure, I don't know really if they're gonna get buffed. They probably gonna be units that are already good, but they could be slightly better. 0% chance, lol. This means that the character is just broken. There is no way that they're gonna buff that certain character. Either way, let's begin ranking. Starting off with Arone EX. Personally, I think she could get buffed, not in the sense of her busted PP recovery ability. I mean, the other aspect of her kit. You only bring EX Arone for one skill, and that is literally just her PP recovery, like Renew Prayer, but it gives 1 PP recovery for all allies each turn. That is practically her only usage for most cases. I mean by that she could get buffed in the ice competition, etc. Not her actual PP recovery, making her more slightly versatile unit. I will put her in the unsure territory. Erica. Erica is a unit that has, in my opinion, unfortunately been outclassed by the newer characters mega fast. When she came out, 4 months later, Zazantos came out and he was better in almost every aspect than Erica. And then 2 or 3 months later, we got Audio O, who's was the best unit in the entire game upon his release. I feel like Erica is in the territory who could get buffed, but is not mega likely because she's still relevant, but you need to set her up for her gimmick. So I will put her in the unsure territory. Triana, I think not. She's not gonna get buffed because she's one of the best light attackers and the dark attackers upon her release, and she's still mega relevant in those competitions. And because of how long she has been out, staying this long in the JP meta is really insane for how long the character can be good in 2 categories and also still be providing debuffs while attacking, because she when she uses some of her skills, she debuffs the enemy and also attacks, so that is a great action economy too. So I don't think she's gonna get buffed in any major way. Citret, unfortunately, she's a standard pool unit. She could get buffed to make her banner more appealing, but outside of that, I have not seen many standard general pool units get buffed. So I'm unsure about that. Zagna, easy, no, she is really strong unit. She's a debuffer unit with that has access to debuffing the enemy in 3 separate categories. She gives a lot of debuff icons for the enemies. So units that have restrictions, like in the future Uni, where she gains double cast when the enemy has like 16 buff icons. I mean, like any icons. Zegna was just provided that easily, and Uni actually is, funnily enough, goes from like the second worst hunter to probably top 3 hunters. Possibly even the second best. The best one is in this list, and we will rank it much, much later. Zazantos, also no shot he's gonna get buffed, because he is a really, really strong unit. He has like, at turn 1, he could just shave 9 shields. And sword, fire, and light weakness, either one, he's just gonna shave 9 shields. It is insane. He's also having this unique gimmick of using 5 PP in like one turn, and he has like the most absurd ultimate in the entire game for casual farming, which is hit 3 AoE. It's a 3 hit AoE sword and gains, I don't know what the buff is called, but imagine Rondo's Sacred Flame buff, but that's on steroids. What I mean by that is that instead of the 3 PP recovery that Rondo gets every single turn, the buff itself only lasts for 1 turn, but it gains 5 PP. And that's not only for Zazantos, that is for the entire front row. So your other units can just max boost, and the turn right after, Zazantos will just recover all of their PP that they just used, provided he uses the ultimate the turn they use their PP. So I don't expect any chances for Zazantos to get buffed. Ogun, also another 0% chance, because he's already insane. And he's a general pool unit. Imagine, like, if you do not have EX Primrose, this guy is just insanely good. He doesn't recover the ultimate gauge, unfortunately, but he gives, like, his regen is a full front row, or, like, not full front row. It's all allies regen, except himself, and he gives defense buffs for all of them. His ultimate is also all allies, and it gives, I'm not kidding, 100,000 HP recovery, 10% to all basic stats up, except for crit and speed, which is physical attack, elemental attack, physical defense, and elemental defense. This is a great ultimate to extend all of your buffs in the ultimate category, and pretty much Ogun is really good too, because he has also access to a 6 AoE ice attack that has really high potency, and you can, if you really want to, just turn him into a tank, because his second passive is, when he's at red HP, any skill he uses gonna give him 75% barrier shield, and he has, when he uses his regen ability or any ability that gives major buffs to the other allies, he's gonna take 75% HP from himself, then switch it to a barrier shield, and then he's gonna stay at red HP. So you could just, every turn, if he takes any action outside of attack, he's gonna regenerate that shield back. So you can turn him with a tank if you really want to. Now, to the Live Alive collab. Oh boy. Ostrid is like 9S, where you get the first copy of him for free. I'm gonna be real with you, he isn't really that great. And yes, he's a free character, but I think he's actually likely gonna get buffed, because he's second, like, at least with 9S, he was paired up with A2, who was the best unit in the game. But Love Alive is 2 parts. Ostrid and Strabo alone together, and Audio S and Audio O separate. They are... Okay, so let me repeat. Austria and Strabo are in the same banner, and then there was a second banner where Audio S and Audio O were in a separate banner together. So Austria, he was really mediocre upon his release. Yes, he was a cool, neat unit that was for free, but he wasn't really that great. And his Awakening 4 accessory could be changed because it is a horrible Awakening 4 accessory. And speaking of which, the other character, Strabo. Oh boy. This guy is the worst 2023 character in the entire game. So, I am like 90%, no, 99, not 90%, I'm a 99.9% sure he's gonna get buffed, no matter what. Because he is a horrendous character. He has no redeeming quality. He requires 7 turns to have one skill that is usable. Like, you need 7 turns of just him attacking over and over again with horrible skills just to have a single move that is 1 hit fire that becomes 7 hit when he gets 6 or more points. And he gets 1 point when he using a skill. So you gotta use a lot of skills that are really bad for him to at least have a decent fire skill. His ultimate is even really bad. His Awakening 4 accessory though, it is a wonderful Awakening 4 accessory. But the drawback is it's locked in behind the worst character design ever in 2023. Now to the other side. Audio Strabo. Yes, this is a global. I mean, not global. I think this guy's just, like. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. I do not have a script for this video. I should have, but I just woke up. I said, sure, let's make the video. Audio S is basically like a new character Octopath made. He doesn't exist in the main game, I believe. Either way, I think he is likely gonna get buffed because Audio S only has like 2 good skills and his ultimate. That's pretty much it. His ultimate is like it debuffs the enemy by a lot and it inflicts a lot of status element. That's pretty much that he has going for him. His other gimmick is that he gains buffs to the allies based on how much percentage of their HP. At red HP, he actually gives really good buffs, but it is not that easy to get the units to red HP. And let's say Arena Champion refight or any book refight, because he's gonna start the battle at 100% HP anyways. So his majority of the kit is not really that great. Audio, okay. To be honest, I could have put him in the unsure territory, but let me explain first. If all three get buffed, there is a slight chance that they could just slightly buff Audio O, because why buff everyone else while not buffing this guy? But if I were to actually put him, I'm gonna put him like, if there was a territory below 0%, this guy is gonna be in it. This guy was the best character on release because he had access to the most broken ability in the entire game, which was, if I was recalling correctly, he gave the entire front row 20% physical attack, 20% all damage up, a guaranteed crit, and also recover 1 PP. That is just insane. And that is not even the best part. It is extendable, all of it. So it becomes from 2 turns to 5 turns. And at, I believe, level 88, this becomes actually extended again. So it becomes from 3 turns base all the way to 6 turns has max boost, which is an insanely overpowered skill. And he was insanely good heavy attacker because he had access to a 9-hit sword, single target that was insanely overpowered. It has high potency. You could just use Solon with him, and he was basically gonna destroy the entire game by himself, provided that enemy had either sword or dark weakness, because he can pierce the dark. Now, to the new, oh my god, the unique thing about this tier list. Celicia characters. If you do not know, after the Lava Life collab, we have not gotten a character for so long that they released it side Celicia. Yes, we're gonna get Celicia in the global version, presumably like in a few months. And when side Celicia came out, they released it Throne first, and then they released it Piero. Okay? So, ranking Throne. They have released it all 8 characters that are the 8 major characters in this franchise, Octopath 2, like Throne, Hikari, Agnia, etc. And using Throne, I felt like she is the worst among all of them, and even then she was good. But she has a lot of holes in her kit. Mainly that she has no reliable damage. And what I mean by that is that she has a unique gimmick where it's called Lieutenant ability, which you can activate whenever after a certain point. And she basically gains double cast. Yes, the double cast is really cool, but the issue is that she only has double cast for one turn. So, for the first turn of break, she's a wonderful unit, but then quickly falls off after in the second turn of break. So, if they really want her to make her busted, they could just make the double cast just for 2 turns, not 1 turn, and she was gonna be a really, really strong unit. Either way, now to the next character. Piero. Oh, Piero is... He's a great character, although it's a flip coin. He has a 50% chance at the start of each turn to gain double cast. Imagine it's just Joshua passive, but it's instead of 20%, it's 50%. And that will determine whether he is average or insanely busted. So, they could just buff his double cast chances of him being really good. I really hope, because this guy falls off really quick because he cannot debuff that much outside of his new a singular nuke that he has, and it's a really weak nuke. So yeah, Greg is, unfortunately, she's a general pool unit, so her chances of getting buffed is really low, but I think she deserves a solid chance of getting buffed because she only has 1-hit sword, and that's it. Like, that is her highest shield shaving skill that she has, is a singular hit sword. She's mainly a tank that you use, but my issue with her is that she doesn't have a lot of shield shaving. She lacks a lot of at least a solid damage or a debuff alongside of being a tank. So, she's just like this awkward unit that is a tank but doesn't do much either. At least, on my opinion, Gilderoy at least brings in, like, he buffs himself. He can shave decent amount of shields, etc. But Greg is just like, she doesn't have any shield shaving skills. She's just a tank, and if you're gonna use a tank, just use EX on it. Or Ogan at this point too. But like Greg is just really awkward unit. She is not really the best tank. She's not really doing much outside of tanking. So yeah. Mergari. Yes, there's a new arena champion that came out after Hami, and I will say this is a strong 0% chance. They have never buffed the arena champion units, and Mergari itself is just already really good. If you want to read the unit skills entire kit, I will link the Octopath index in the bottom of the description video and in the comment section, so you can just read this character's kit or any kit in this list. I just remember all the characters' skills, etc. because I've been playing this game for so long, it's just easy to remember. Morphins. Morphins is like, on release, he's like bad, but it took him way too much time for him to actually be good after getting his torch point and 6-star buffs. And even then, he only needed once the Side Celestia weapons they gave potency up, and that potency up was not stackable, and this guy was just like, he gave potency up like 30%, and the weapons gave 20%, so it was practically worthless to run Morphins until they made the weapons multiplicative with other resources like the potency up, so Morphins becomes from a bad unit to a really good unit. But in my opinion, on release, he could get buffed, and it is a high chance because this guy is like, I believe like a half a year old, and he's like relevant now, like 2 weeks before, so he's gonna just sit there 6 months not doing anything, which I found really not great for a character like this. Nihao, this guy, oh, I said guy, okay, whatever. This girl, no, she's not gonna get buffed. She's a really good unit for a general pool unit. She has abilities that gives 30% ice damage up for damage up. I believe also dark and light damage up, which is insanely good. She also gives the entire allies access to magic critting when she uses either of those skills, because it's a prayer skill like Renew or Eaxarone. So she's basically a general pool version of those characters. Neville is my favorite Secrets Blaze character. He's a really good unit. He's most likely not gonna get buffed because he has this ability called Thundershock, and this Thundershock, imagine Tyros going from a meme unit that can only shave like, you know that, okay, what, let me rephrase. You know that meme skill that he has, like 5 hit random target thunder that he has? Neville makes that go from 5 shield shave, if that is a thunder, if the thunder weakness is there, to 10. And you're probably gonna be like, what? What do you mean by that? Thundershock applies 1 extra shield shave if the attack is thunder. So if there is a thunder weakness in the enemy, you're gonna shave 2 shields instead of 1. So it just makes Neville like insanely good character. He is a must-have unit for Thunder teams, basically. And Thunder teams actually can be a really good team in the field because he can run characters like Tyrus, Oswald, and Neville as your main DPS options. Carlins. this tier list is not. This is not a like I put them together. I didn't order them based on release date. So Carlin's, I could see a really small chance of him getting buffed. He's a decent character already, although he is basically a shield shaver debuffer unit. He doesn't really have that DPS option that he brings. And the funny thing is, he's actually a tank. They slapped permanent taunt to all enemies if he's in the front row, no matter how high his HP is. On my opinion, he could have like a skill that gives him better shield, something like that. Or at least give him like an actual DPS nuke that he can do. He has a 2-hit one, but it doesn't really hit that hard. And that's pretty much it, on my opinion. Esla is... Actually, I haven't seen Esla in quite a while. Although he is a really good character anyways. I believe that it could be a tiny chance of him getting buffed because he's mainly a support character that can deal some damage. But I have not seen him for quite a while in JP version. Okay, next character, Magnolia. If there was a second tier where there is like no, like below 0% chance, Oreo and Magnolia will be in it. And there's gonna be one more character in this tier list that will join them if I made that tier. Because Magnolia, imagine, how busted Solon's ultimate is. It's 100% potency to an ally, if you're choosing, which doubles their damage, which is insanely busted. On her trailer, they did not show her most overpowered passive, so we thought she was underwhelming before we knew her entire kit. And then when she came out, they were like, yeah, have fun. This character has, when she spends 3 PP, she gets double potency. We were like, what the frick is this? She's basically Solon. She's a unit that doesn't require Solon and will deal the same damage, which is insane. And she has a 7-hit spear that is 80 potency at max boost. This becomes 160 because the double potency, and that is a 7-hit. So she just destroys enemies. And Sphere by herself. And the funny thing is, you can turn her to a Thunder DPS too, because she has a really high, surprisingly, a really high potency for the Thunder attacks. Although it's a 4-hit, but again, Neville exists before her, so you're most likely gonna have him. So she's gonna shave 8 shields because of funny Thunder Shock. Now to Ochet. Ochet, she is like I think she is really likely gonna get buffed. Because, hear me out, she's a good character, but she is really atrocious to use. She's a unit that you have to break with her in order to make her get double cast. And even then, it's only 1 turn of double cast unless you break with a counter. She will get in 2 turns instead, but that is like really omega setup just to use double cast for 2 turns. And it's not really that worth it for her, because in the future, when Uni gets her double cast, etc., I believe Uni is much better than her chat, because at least Uni has like much easier conditions to break to get double cast, and even then it's gonna be both break turns, not only one break turn. So yeah, I think that's why Ochad is not really that great. She could get buffed to make her double cast is like when a broken enemy is present. Now she'll be like a really good character. Sail, Sail is basically the main antagonist, what main protagonist of Side Celestia. The chosen one is not the main protagonist, and Side Celicia is this guy Cell, and this guy is the most versatile unit from the free unit that they gave us. He has access to basically half of the game weaknesses. I'm not gonna say how because that's story spoilers, but I don't wanna spoil stories. So yeah, Partitio or Particio. I like him. I don't know why I said Partitio, but Particio. No. Wow, there's a lot of characters in the no list. Just to show you how good characters are. He's a monster unit. His lieutenant ability is just like insanely overpowered. All merchants in the party do not consume PP. So what I mean by that is that if you max boost with Particio and he has his lieutenant ability active, that's not gonna do anything to him. It's just not gonna use his PP. He's gonna use the max boost anyways. So it is an insanely overpowered lieutenant, especially because he has a really good nuke. Agnia is also a 0% chance. Or, to be honest, she could get buffed. Because her support is like wonky. And even then, we are not in the point where we need the 50% cap. Yes, the cap doesn't get increased from 30% with to 50%. But the 30% cap is already like too much, so it doesn't really matter what Agnia does. She does have debuff skills, which is nice, but outside of that, she's not really that great of a character, in my opinion. Ring a bell. Ring a bell. To be honest, if it wasn't for how slow they update their 6 stars, I would have ranked him in a higher tier list, but because of how slow they released the 6 stars for warriors, I believe he's not gonna get buffed because he on release was the best DPS for sword, and pretty much he had this skill called unsinkable, which basically makes him unkillable outside of insta kills like Augusti's turn count or Fury of the Strong, etc. Outside of that, this guy was pretty much unkillable for 6 turns, which I found really hilarious. And he had 3 PP regeneration every single turn too when he used that skill. So he's practically unkillable for 6 turns. And he was the best sword DPS. He still is, I believe. Outside of Hikari after the 7th turn. We'll get to that. But yeah, Ringabel was a insane unit. It's gonna fall off once other units get their 6 star. Because he has practically no competition outside of Hikari after turn 7. Gloria, another no. Because she is a wonderful unit that is mainly focusing on support. If you're a casual player who just clears content and does not care about speed clears, and even speed clears, Gloria has this skill countdown. After each 3 turns, she's gonna recover 3 PP, half of your unit's SP, and recover their entire HP. And that countdown, you can after max boost, this triggers 4 times. So if he use that skill, she's gonna be every 3 turns she's gonna grant that buff that I just talked about for 4 times. So every third turn, she's gonna give buffs 4 times. Let me rephrase it. So if you use that skill on turn, let's say 1, I believe on turn 3, 6, 9, and 12, she's gonna give that buff. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I think she's not gonna get buffed anyways. And now to Terminals. Terminals, to be honest, Terminals is like, I could see him get buffed. Because he is like, his ultimate was like really good until like Cassidy came out and she said, well, no, actually, you're not gonna like my ultimate, no, you're not gonna like my EX skill, which is like Terminal's ultimate, but like 6 times better. So his ultimate was like practically his main purpose, alongside his lantern ability to be able to hit other unit, other weaknesses. And he had like one Giga Nuke, which is an AoE like 900 potency, but on my opinion, he's not really that great. He could debuff, yes. He is like mandatory for one fight because they made a annoying fight where you have to use Terminals, otherwise you cannot beat it, because he had this skill that does one miss magical attacks, and that boss supercharge ability will just gotta strip you out of your buffs and then one shot your entire team. So the only counterplay that you got was Terminals, and if you do not have it, Terminals, you should have not bothered with that fight. Outside of that, Terminals, I have never seen him in clears, really. Hikari. Look, he is the best warrior, but like for speed clears, he is bad. This guy is basically a casual player god. So, to be honest, if they really want to, they could just buff him in the sense that he requires less turns to become the best sword, not sword. Every weakness in the entire game. Yes, every physical weakness outside of dagger and spear. He is the best. But he just requires 7 turns. After the 7 turns, he is a god. But before then, your playing was a character that is like practically like Joshua level. Basically, before turn 7. Cassidy, she's gonna join Oreo and Magnolia in the BS category, because her EX skill is like the most unfair EX skill in the entire game. Alongside, she has this unique gimmick of all the X attacks in the entire from the entire team hit one additional time with an AoE 200 potency axe. So let's say like Hayes uses his axe for random target axe. He's gonna use it normally, and then like after he uses the skill, there's gonna be this follow up that does 200 potency based on Hayes' buffs, etc. to all enemies once. And in the future, Hayes does get this really good axe ability where he gains the ability to hit all targets 4 times. So it becomes 5 hit with Cassidy, and he could break a lot of enemies really easily with follow-up, etc. I did see Hayes actually get usage, which is nice because he's one of my favorite characters. But yeah, Cassidy is insane, and she has insane axe skills also. So yeah, why not? Oswald also no, he's not gonna get buffed. On release, we thought he was bad, but after some time, he's just insane. He is basically Cyrus on steroids because he has Solon's ultimate in his ultimate, but it's only for himself and it lasts for 2 turns instead of one. It is practically 3 turns, but it is 2 turns because you're using the EX skill. No, not EX. The ultimate before before attacking, so you're gonna lose 1 turn. So it's practically 2 turns. But he's just insane. His ultimate 10, yes, of course, you can use it twice, etc. So yeah, that is why I think Oswald is not gonna get buffed. Finally, someone breaking the 0% chance of getting buffed territory. Rookie. Rookie is... I would just say he's the 2024 version of Strabo. He's a meme character, like Strabo. He is basically a coin flip, but instead of having like 50-50 to be good, he is like 99% chance to be bad and 1% chance to be decent. His Awakening 4 accessory is really bad too. His entire kit is not appealing, etc. His ultimate is like a joke for 2024 standards too. So I don't understand why they make this character really bad. He's like worse than like Richard, which is like really sad. Richard is a 2022 character in the JP version, and this guy is worse than Richard. So that is like really sad. Now to the last 4 characters. There are 2 additional characters in this list that I couldn't get their images of, sadly, but they'll be in the 0% anyways. Just to make it clear, Hijab, no way he's getting buffed. He's the best bow unit. He grants buffs to other bow units. He also has the Cassidy follow up, which is insane. But it's much weaker. But at least he gives something called Corrosion, which is basically a shield shave. It's like the physical version of Combuster, basically. So yeah, Hijab, it's a character. I know I'm not talking about the character much in details, but I don't want to make this video like 2 hours because my iPad is not gonna be able to handle the entire storage. So yeah, Kane joins the group of Cassidy, Magnolia, and Oreo in that BS territory where there is not even a 1 millisecond chance that they are gonna get buffed. Kane, she is Magnolia, but even better. Her 100% potency when using PP becomes a 120%, and she has 100,000 damage cap alongside of that. So she has Bargelo's A4 accessory on her kit baseline, which I found really funny. She also has access to hitting light and dagger in the same time with her 7-hit single target, and that skill is like absurdly overpowered because it has really high potency, and it is really good attack too. And she has this gimmick like the Santos where she can spend 5 PP in a single turn. Yes, she unfortunately does not recover her PP really fast, but her ultimate is like, yo, let's remove her only weakness and make her have something called fighting spirit. And fighting spirit, what it does is basically do not PP consumption does not consume, which is basically if I use 5 PP, the next turn I still have 5 PP. So that eliminates her only weakness, and I found that to be really hilarious. Amel, I believe honestly, Amel could likely be buffed. He is a good character, but he's niche. He's not really that good. He's not really that versatile, and his only usages says shaving with dark and tome attack, like dark that can pierce tome, and his 15% buff to physical attack and mental attack, and then dagger, dark, and sphere damage up. That's practically his main usage, in my opinion. So he's likely gonna get buffed, in my opinion. Again, this is not on like official buffs. It's just like how strong the character is on the release, their competitors, how well they aged, etc. to consideration, in my opinion. The last character to vote is Nair himself. And Nair, I know this is crazy, but I'm almost certain he's gonna get buffed. Why? Outside of his EX skill, he is like not horrible. He's like a really weak character. He doesn't have too much shield shaving skills. Yeah, his only good usage is his EX skill, which is only able to be used once per a battle, and what it does is that it applies this unique effect on the enemy, and after a specific amount of hits during break, it'll extend the break turn by 1, and that's pretty much the only redeeming quality for Nair himself. So with that, this tier list thingy that I made of like how likely the unit is gonna get buffed for the global version, this is just for fun. Do not take this seriously. Basically, this is a prediction again. I hope you enjoyed the video. So see you later.